Welcome to Geopod, the show where we analyze current events through the lens of geospatial analysis. I'm Andrew Patterson, a teacher here at Coppell High School. Who else do we have going around the table here?
This is Veronica Nguyen.
I'm Sathvik Srinivasan.
And I'm Nihar Pathare.
All right, today we're talking about the Zika virus. If you haven't heard, there is growing concern about a virus that's transmitted through mosquitoes. Mainly we're looking at the Western Hemisphere, but what makes it so scary is apparently what we're seeing is potentially it's infecting and causing mutations in newborns. That is scary to me to even say, all right? So what's going on? Nihar, can you give us some background on this?
The Zika virus has actually been around for quite some time. It's found in tropical Africa and Southeast Asia. But in May of last year, the first confirmed Zika infection was found in Brazil. Now, throughout the world, outbreaks have been reported in places such as Puerto Rico and many South American countries. Fortunately, though, there have been no reported cases in the United States, but our neighboring country, Mexico, has had several instances of the Zika virus. However, it is important for us to acknowledge the virus, since recent outbreaks may cause travelers to come back to the U.S. and therefore spread the virus locally. To make matters worse, the Zika virus is actually spread by the Aedes mosquito, which is the same one that's responsible for spreading the yellow fever. So, Sathvik, you want to talk a little bit about the virus itself?
All right, so the virus itself only affects 20% of those who are exposed to it, and those who do get sick have mild symptoms such as fever and joint pain. So when you think about it, that's what makes the Zika virus so dangerous. It's able to infect people without even them knowing about it. So for all we know, many Americans could be hosting the virus in its dormant stage, and we will be oblivious to the fact that they're infected.
Okay, so we've got some of the facts here now. But Veronica, I can see the gears turning in your head. I feel like you have some opinion about this. What's going on? What are you thinking?
First things first, that thing you said at the beginning about the whole virus causing, it's what's called microcephaly, and that the baby's head is born a little bit smaller, causing some brain abnormalities and development issues. And I don't doubt that that is an actual thing. However, the issue is that people are seeing a rise in this infection spreading across the globe. And at the same time, people are also seeing a rise in this disease spreading, the microcephaly. And the issue is that people will correlate these two together, saying that, one is the cause of another. In this case, people are saying that the Zika virus is what is responsible for the microcephaly. And I think that's a logical fallacy. You can't just assume that there is some connection between them.
What do you think about that, Sathvik?
So when you look at the correlation versus causation, just because, and as Veronica stated before, just because you do get infected through the pregnancy and the abnormality is caused, we need empirical evidence supporting that what we find in pregnant women and the number of abnormalities actually happening. Because it's not just something that we can assume that based off of a small statistical percentage-wise of abnormalities occurring through the infected pregnancy, that we can further support that claim.
Okay, Nihar, I know you got a little more background information on that, specifically about GMO. So why don't you tell us some of that and then what you think?
Okay, so pretty much a British company called Oxitec, funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, actually created a lethal type of mosquito that has an inserted gene that causes the mosquito to kill their offspring. The aim of this is to reduce the population of mosquitoes that actually spread the Zika virus. However, Veronica, when it comes back to the correlation versus causation issue, a Reddit user actually linked the deformed babies found in Brazil to where the genetically modified Zika mosquitoes were deployed. So this correlation has actually caused a lot of controversy, including theories of people accusing Oxitec of actually helping spread the Zika virus. And when it comes down to it, these kind of do make sense, because Brazil right now does have an overpopulation problem.
I'm going to jump in there, Nihar, and agree and actually say that I'm really thankful we are discussing it from a cautious perspective. Because when we start to analyze these things through the geopolitical lens, we see reasons why we might want to slow down a bit here and say that we're all just captured in fear about what might be happening here. And I can't help but put a connection to what happened last year with the Ebola virus, how that was spreading and all the attention and fear that was being placed on that. If you remember the Ebola virus, there was a similar situation with the company that was creating vaccines. This company was called GlaxoSmithKline, which actually had just recently been hit with one of the largest lawsuits in history because of the way they were getting funding and issuing kickbacks. And then apparently they were issued the vaccine go-ahead to vaccinate for Ebola. So what's going on with this situation with Zika? What potentially could be some of the issues when we look at the world geopolitically and the Zika virus?
Well, of course, we have different companies. For example, this Oxitec was funded by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. In a different area, for example, in Europe, we could have a different company that would specialize in this genetic transplants and even in vitro fertilization, which is creating embryos and artificial human babies. They could have purposely stir up this controversy of them causing the virus in order for their company to look better, and more supporters would advocate for their research and their company itself.
That's exactly what I was saying. So, I mean, Veronica, what are your thoughts? Are you feeling the same kind of thing, or what's your analytics teaching you?
I think it's important to be cautious and question everything. Yeah, they might not be doing completely for humanity and trying to save the world because we're all cynics here, but it's hard to really figure out what to believe and what not to believe. And I hope that they're really making these genetically modified organisms in order to fight the Zika virus, but it's a little bit saddening to hear that they could be doing on purpose for the fame and fortune.
Sathvik, I actually don't agree with you when you talked about other companies possibly creating these theories to defame Oxitec, because in reality, what benefits would it bring them? Oxitec has been a privately funded company, and any other company that studies genetic modification wouldn't really benefit by defaming Oxitec. I actually think these theories are the work of conspiracy theories because, that's just what they do.
And Nihar, in all honesty, I completely agree with you on that point. And then again, this is all according to subjectivity. We could have our viewpoints about this, and the controversy could stir up even more. But, in the end, if we look at this holistically, we need to see that there's an ulterior motive behind it. Bringing out this concern in the first place is our goal, and how we can eliminate the negative effects of this outbreak that's coming to us.
Moreover, we need to remember that social media has a huge impact on how we see things, and that we can only see things the way that social media portrays it to us. So, all these controversies, it might also be the news and the media trying to make money, that this is the only way that they can make a Zika virus a big deal, because we just had Ebola, so the Zika virus at the moment is not exactly as big of a danger.
But I can't help but think about how detectives solve a murder case. If you have like a wife that was murdered by someone, who do they question first?
The husband, most likely.
Okay, and why would they do that?
It's portrayed like that in lots of film and media.
Okay, so we're definitely influenced by the media. We've got a lot of theatrical imagery going through our minds there. More than that, though, what they do in a murder investigation is they take a look at who stands to benefit the most. And so when I look at the situation of the Zika virus, I can't help but question who stands to benefit the most. Certainly we know that horrible things are happening, and we definitely don't want any infants affected or any people's lives ruined. But I can't help but think who stands to benefit the most from something spreading like this. And when I do that, I really question the motives of large corporations, especially after knowing what happened with the Ebola virus.
All right, so that is our take on the Zika virus.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to Geopod. We'll see you next time.
I'm a student.